What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a New York Strip Loin. Thyron from TNT Barbecue gave this to me when he came out here from Iowa a few months ago. I had no idea what this was until he told me yesterday. Anyway, Thyron, thanks for giving this to me. I'm going to put a link to TNT Barbecue in the iCard above in the description below. Anyway, we're going to be cooking this on our Weber Kettle grill. And we're going to be using some products that were sent to me by Adrenaline Barbecue Company. We're going to be using their Slow N Sear on this. Basically what that is, it's kind of a charcoal basket that has a water reservoir that will help you cook at low temperatures and conserve a lot of your charcoal. But we'll get into that later. I'm going to put all their information in the description below. They also have a YouTube channel. Run over there and take a look at that. I'm going to leave a link to Adrenaline Barbecue's YouTube channel in the iCard above. Anyway, I already have this New York strip loin seasoned up, just salt and pepper, and it's been hanging out in the refrigerator for about 4 hours. Our technique on this is we're going to throw this on the Weber Kettle grill with our Slow N Sear. We're going to cook it to about 120 degrees internal temperature. I may not sear this when I'm done with it, but my wife does like her steak a little more done. So what I'm probably going to do is cut off one or two of these into just steaks, and we're going to go ahead and sear those using the sear action on the Slow N Sear. Anyway, I'd also like to thank Adrenaline Barbecue for sending me out this t-shirt. I'm repping Adrenaline Barbecue right now, so what's up? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get some coals fired up. We don't need many, probably about 10 or 12. Get those in there and we'll get rocking. So we have 12 briquettes. I have those lit and I have them in the corner over here. What Adrenaline Barbecue Company suggests is that you use some kind of a fire starter, whether it be the cubes or some of those tumbleweed looking things. I'm a little hard-headed, so I lit mine in a chimney starter, and you never know how hard it is to light 12 briquettes in a chimney starter, but we got them done. Now I'm going to go ahead and add, since we're not going too long on this, I'm going to go ahead and just add a half of a chimney starter full of charcoal. Which is a lot less than I would be using if I was using my brick method. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some chunks of, I have some pecan and some hickory. Just go ahead and add those in. Now, while this is kind of getting going, I'm going to go inside and boil some water so we can fill up this water reservoir. So it looks like our charcoal's coming along. I have our dripping grill placed snugly in here. I'm going to actually put a pan on top of this just to catch any juice. I might make a little au jus or something with that, but let's go ahead and add this boiling water in here. And I will tell you that this holds a lot more, I mean, I know it said a quart, but this actually holds a lot more water than I thought. So I'm going to go ahead and get my grate cleaned off and get this drip pan put under here. So we got this grate cleaned off. What I ended up doing was taking that dripping grill out and then cleaning the grate and then putting it back in. We're going to go ahead and throw this meat on. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on meat or fat side up. Kind of scoot it over to the edge. Now we're going to be cooking this until we get to about 120 degrees internal temperature. I'm going to be running this grill at about 250 degrees. During my move, I misplaced my meat probe, so we're going to go old school on this and just check it with the regular thermometer. Anyway, we're going to put this to bed. I'm going to make sure that my temperature is running at about 250 degrees. I'm going to put the lid on with the vents over the meat, and we'll check back in on this in about another, I'd say let's check it on about an hour. We are about an hour and a half in, so let's kind of go ahead and check and see what our temperature's looking like. So let's see. Say somewhere around 117 there. This end's getting closer up into that one. You know what, we're gonna go ahead and take this to 125 average on this. Let's see how this is going. You know, I am going to go ahead and take this up to 125 degrees. We're not really getting much of a bark on it, and maybe that's because we have the water in there, but remember we do have this Slow N Sear, and if you can see those charcoals over there, I mean, we've barely used any of the charcoal, so we're going to be able to save whatever we don't use on this for another cook. Let's go ahead and check the temperature on this. So roughly, let's say we're about 123, 124 degrees. What I'm going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and take this off. And what I'm going to do is take it inside. We're going to put some foil over the top of it. We're not going to seal it up because I don't want it to climb in temperature, because we're still going to have to sear it. So this actually did start getting some good color on the top of it. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and tint it, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically just lay this foil on top of it, and that's more just to keep, you know, keep it out of the elements, make sure, you know, I don't see any flies, but just keep anything off of the food. I'm going to let this sit for about 35 minutes, then I'm going to cut some into steaks, sear those off, and then we're going to sear off the rest of the loin. So I wanted to say that Slow N Sear is working like a champ. What I did after I took this off the grill was I just kind of closed the vents down just so I wasn't using a bunch of charcoal. Then about 10 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, I opened up everything wide open, so when we get out there to sear, it's going to be piping hot. Anyway, it's been about 30 minutes. Had this just sitting here relaxing. We're going to go ahead and cut it now. Like I said, I'm going to cut a few of these, or I'm going to cut a couple slices for some steaks, then we're going to leave the rest of it whole. So these end pieces are always, this is going to be my snack right there. But as you can see, that looks nicely cooked right there. I'm going to set that to the side, and then I'm going to cut about 2 steaks off of this, maybe about 1 inch thick. And here's what those are looking like. Those look good. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but we're going to go ahead. I'm going to throw some olive oil on those, season them up with a little bit more salt and pepper, sear those off, and then we're going to sear off this roast. I'm probably going to go ahead and sear off this roast first, so I'll see you at the grill. So guys, we are still working on that half a chimney full of charcoal plus the 12 briquettes I started off at, so this thing is definitely conserving some charcoal. Now we're just going to get a quick sear on this loin. And that's a tight fit, but that is a big wide piece of meat right there. We're just going to knock that out on both sides here and just get a little color on it and run in and grab these other steaks. But I did just want to cut in here real quick so you can see what a good job this is doing searing this steak. Is you can see you do have some flame action coming up on that, so this is real nice. So we got that loin inside resting. Now we're going to go ahead and throw these steaks on. I did rub a little bit of olive oil on there, a little bit of salt, and some coarse black pepper. We're going to hit that a couple minutes aside. Now my wife likes these cooked a little bit more than I do, so I may let these get kind of to that medium. We got the one side seared off. I'm going to go ahead and finish the other side, let these come inside, rest a little bit, and then we're going to cut into both of these and see what I think. So this is a wrap. Went outside, shut off my vents on that Weber kettle, so I'm going to be saving all kinds of charcoal for my next cook. Anyway, got these steaks seared off. I'm going to go ahead and set these to the side. Now let's cut into this New York strip loin. I'm just going to cut this end off, since the end is probably going to be a little more cooked Actually, we're not. That's a nice little pink on that. But I am going to go ahead and set that aside. Let's go ahead and cut these. I'm going about 1/4 of an inch, as thick as you'd want. And when I'm done slicing these, I'm going to bring you guys in so you can take a look and see exactly how good the color is on this. So here's our final product right here. We got a couple steaks on the outside. We got our center cut right there in the middle. Let's taste. So you've seen what it looks like. Now it's just down to the taste. But before we get into that, I'm not even joking around. That Slow N Sear well exceeded my expectations. And one thing I can kind of tell you is that having that Slow N Sear in there kind of insulates that kettle a bit on the side that it's sitting in. It does run a little bit hotter, but you know, if you know how to adjust your vents, you're good to go. So it took me about 15 minutes to kind of settle it down after starting it, and part of that was just me leaving the lid open, you know, trying to get my camera positioned and stuff like that. Things that isn't going to happen all the time. Anyway, let's get in and taste. That is tasty. I'm digging that. This is my first time having this cut of beef. You know, let me get in on one of these steaks. Like I said, I had to cook this a little bit more done for my wife. So let me at least try to get in here a little bit in the middle. So it's not that bad. Still got a little pink going. You know what? I think I might like the little steak action a little bit better. Got that, maybe a little bit more of that surface area is kind of seared in there. Either way, they're both good, but I might end up searing off all these to make little steaks out of them. Anyway, y'all at Slow N Sear, thanks for hooking me up. I appreciate it. Everybody that's interested in it, I'll go ahead and leave their information in the description below. And hey, for all you veterans out there, he's a former U.S. Air Force C-130 navigator, so if that changes your opinion on anything or pushes you a little bit more, hey, might as well. Anyway, thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.